Hello, I am Debra Peek-Haynes and welcome to Debra's Healing Kitchen. I am really excited because I have a wonderful woman that is going to share wisdom with us. And she's also a marvelous doctor and a marvelous friend, known her for years. So Dr. Margaret Betts, thank you so much for taking your time to come and share with us today. And I hope our audience is going to be really excited about what you are going to share. So if you don't mind, Dr. Betts, I've known you for a long time, but our audience may not know you. So would you please give a quick summary about, who you are in your practice and what you're doing there in wonderful Detroit?
Well, I have to think about that, and so that I can give you a little sound bites. A practicing physician of internal medicine for 30 plus years, trained in Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese medicine, basic holistic, and now functional medicine. I'm in private practice, so I'm able to do a lot of things that traditional physicians are not able to do because they have the administrator telling them what to do. Yes, I'm a medical doctor. Most people think that because I do holistics, I'm a nurse practitioner, pharmacist, a nutritionist, but I have an MD from the Medical College of Ohio. I attempt to have my patients put me out of business. I always tell them, I want you to be so healthy until you put me out of business.
That's wonderful.
Just come in, yes, once a year to get your physical exam to make sure that you are healthy. That hasn't happened. As we get older, well, unfortunately, that's why you have a healing kitchen, and that's where it starts. But as we get older, people are more concerned with longevity because they look at mortality and it's getting closer and closer. So they come and they want to get their bodies right so they can live the 120 years that God has promised us. I try to treat the patient individually. So it's no set plan. If the patient has diabetes, treat him with this. The patient with high blood pressure, treat him with this. I try to get into the patient's lifestyle to make sure that I'm giving them what they need to be able to take back to their environment so they can be successful. So my practice is a bit different. It is led by the Holy Spirit, and certainly we all want to be obedient. And that's basically who I am.
That is an awesome introduction. You said a lot in a short amount of time, so we appreciate that. Now we're going to shift into a question. Just want to get your insight on this. And you kind of mentioned it, but in your many years of practice, when did you discover that poor diets really had a lot to do with the impact of the health of your patients?
Well, when they repeatedly came in with high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and they would talk about, especially the patients with diabetes, they would come in and say, oh, their blood sugar would be elevated. And this was probably initially when I first started my practice. And let me go back a minute. In medical school, it was a small private medical school. There were 60 students in the school, and I was the only African American. And I was the only one that wanted to challenge what they were teaching. And they were always teaching disease. And I would raise my hand and I'd ask, how do you prevent disease? And as my hand would go up, the professor would say, Margaret, we're treating disease. We're not preventing disease. Yes. And so my spirit said, get your MD, and then you can go on your own journey to see of the journey of knowing. But almost everyone, even when I was younger, we didn't have a consciousness of what we ate, but our parents fed us what we needed.
Right.
We didn't have a lot of junk food, a lot of fast food or anything. My father used to say, if it wasn't on the table, we were not eating it. And my mother would always cook every day. And so we were very healthy at that point. But going into practice, there were so many misconceptions. The marketing and advertising on television is overwhelming. If there is a new fast food, everybody's running to it. It's like Popeye's chicken.
Right.
There was a person here in Detroit, unfortunately, that was killed waiting in a line to get some Popeye chicken.
Mm.
And knowing that that is just so, so bad for you. So from the beginning of my practice, I realized that. And after giving patients as much time as they needed, I don't do a 15-minute visit. I sit down and give them as much time as they need. And oftentimes my administrative assistant have to knock on the door because it's 45 minutes, half an hour and a half, etc. You know.
I've experienced it, yes.
But there's a disconnect between eating and health. Because we misinterpret the Bible. We bless the food and hope that it nourishes our body. And I tell patients, but prayer without works is to no avail. They don't know how to work it. So they said, well, Dr. Betts, what do you mean? If you buy it from the store and you know it's bad for you, don't pray on it because you're wasting your time. You got to work it. You got to sit down. And that's what we normally do.
That's common sense.
That's common sense. Part of my initial evaluation is to have patients give me a week of what they eat. Not that I'm going to beat them up, but I want to see what their diet is. And our diets are pretty much consistent. And we really are addicted to food because we eat 3 times a day, regardless of whether we need it. You know, and trying to get people, if you wake up in the morning and if you don't feel like eating, don't. And that's a new concept for a lot of people. So we want to be healthy. We want to nourish our bodies. But the 3 meals a day has been questioned over the last 40, 50 years. And I'm sure you know.
Right. And also, just briefly, water. So say a little bit about water, because I think we're mostly dehydrated most of the time.
Well, our bodies, including our brain, is probably about 80% water, maybe more than that. And if you understand the benefit of water, you understand why you need to drink it. Not flavored water, not that crystal light water from the tap, God's pure water. We need to, a lot of people question half your weight in ounces. If it's not half your weight in ounces, you need to drink water until your urine is just a tint of yellow. It's clear or just a tint of yellow. You get up in the morning and it's real dark. I mean, that's not a problem because you've been sleeping all night. But as the day goes on, it needs to be lighter and lighter. Most people don't want to go to the bathroom because they think it's an inconvenience.
Right.
Drive by a dialysis unit. You'll understand how blessed you are. And we should be going to the bathroom anywhere from 8 to 10 times a day.
So I shouldn't feel bad. I keep running to the bathroom.
Yeah, because it detoxes our system. And too often, when we're dehydrated, the brain, as primitive as it is, thinks that we're hungry. So we will reach for food instead of reaching for water. I always ask everybody that I know, if you're hungry, drink at least 4 to 6 ounces of water. And that may decrease your feeling of hunger. And of course, it's going to help control your weight as well.
That's awesome.
So very important. It should be one of the essential, well, it is one of the essential nutrients. You know, they say you can live, and I may be a little bit off on this, you can live 3 weeks without, we can live 3 weeks without food, but you cannot live 3 days without water, without something going on or happening. And as we get older, the least little bit of dehydration sort of puts us into a state of confusion, forgetfulness. So you really have to, if you have any seniors at home, and we're marching towards that, mark ourselves, you really got to watch them during this time of weather. It's hot, it's sweaty, and you really may need to give them more water than less.
And sometimes we fret about forgetting something, but it might be we're just dehydrated.
Right, you're right.
Yes. That's good. Well, you know, we're going to have a part 2 to this conversation, and I hope everyone is excited as I am, because you really are dropping some gems on us. And if we just listen and take heed, I think we all be a lot better. So we're going to come back in just a few minutes, and we're going to have a part 2 to this conversation. Okay. Thank you. We are having this wonderful session with Dr. Margaret Betts, who is an internist. She's holistic in her approach, and we're going to come back shortly so you can get some more information and take notes and take heed. And as she said, you know, faith without works is dead. So you're going to have to do some work after this. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Debra Peek-Haynes signing off. We'll be right back.